A cold wind swept across the empty street the night Evan found the girl standing alone under the flickering street lamp, shivering, soaked, and clutching a backpack like it was the last thing she had left in the world. He was on his way home from the late shift, exhausted, broke, and carrying worries heavier than his toolbox. But when she lifted her eyes, filled with fear and something fragile, he knew one thing instantly: if he left her there, he'd never forgive himself. He had no idea that letting her stay the night would lead him into a world he never belonged to, and that the person knocking on his door at sunrise would change everything. The story begins below. No headings, as requested. The night rain had started unexpectedly, turning the narrow neighborhood street into a blur of reflections. Evan pulled his old jacket tighter, wishing the cold didn't seep so easily into his bones these days. Ever since his wife passed 3 years ago, life had become a quiet struggle. He worked long hours, took care of his 6-year-old son, Liam, and tried every day to stretch a paycheck that never stretched far enough. But tonight, something felt off, like the universe had paused to breathe, and then he saw her. A girl, maybe 17 or 18, standing alone under the rain. Her blonde hair clung to her face, her thin cardigan soaked through. She held a worn backpack to her chest, trembling. The street was silent except for the steady patter of rain hitting the pavement. Evan slowed his steps. "You all right?" he asked gently. She startled, then forced a small nod. "Yeah. I'm fine." Her voice was cracked around the edges. "Not fine at all. You waiting for someone?" Evan tried again. "No," she whispered. I don't know where to go right now." Evan exhaled, glancing back toward his small, slightly run-down house. Liam was probably asleep by now. He knew bringing a stranger home was risky. But he also knew the look in her eyes, a look he had once seen in the mirror the day he buried his wife. Lost. Scared. "Alone, I'm Evan," he said softly. "My house is right around the corner. You can come wait inside until the rain stops. I have a kid, so it's safe." The girl hesitated, gripping her backpack tighter. "I don't want to be a problem." "You won't be." Her shoulders slumped, as if exhaustion finally won. She nodded. They walked in silence. Inside the house, the warm lights made her flinch like she wasn't used to comfort. Evan draped a clean towel around her shoulders. The house was small, but tidy. Children's drawings covered the fridge. Toys were scattered near the couch. Liam slept peacefully in his room. "What's your name?" Evan asked. "Anna." "That's a nice name." She smiled faintly but didn't look up. Her hand shook as she unzipped her backpack just a little, enough to reveal a few clothes, some papers, and a photo of her with an older man in a suit. "You must be hungry," Evan said. "Let me make you something." When he walked to the kitchen, Anna quietly wiped her eyes with the corner of the towel. Later, after eating, she tried to sleep on the couch, but every sound made her flinch. Evan noticed. "Do you want my son's extra blanket?" he asked. She nodded gratefully. He didn't ask why she was out there. Didn't ask what she was running from. He figured she'd tell him when she was ready, but he didn't expect the answer to come sooner. At dawn, a loud knock on the door jolted them awake. Anna froze, her face draining of color. Evan moved toward the door cautiously, peering through the curtain. A black luxury car sat in his driveway. A man in an expensive coat stood at his doorstep, jaw tight, eyes sharp, an expression carved from worry and fury. Evan opened the door slowly. "Can I help you?" he asked. The man's eyes scanned the room until they landed on Anna behind Evan. "Anna," he breathed out. Relief and anger tangled in that one word. "Thank God. I've been searching everywhere." Anna stepped back, tears filling her eyes. "Dad," Evan blinked. "Dad," the man stepped inside without waiting for permission. The firmness in his posture made it clear, this wasn't just any father. His clothes alone cost more than Evan's monthly rent. The car outside confirmed it. This man was wealthy. Very wealthy, and Evan, just a struggling single dad, was suddenly aware of every crack in his old walls, every stain on the carpet, every sign that he lived a life this millionaire had never touched. But none of that mattered when Anna whispered, "I wasn't running away from you, Dad. I just needed to breathe. I felt like I was suffocating in your world. Everything is controlled. Everything is decided. I needed one night where I wasn't someone's project." Her father's expression cracked. The rich facade slipped, replaced by raw fear. "Anna, you disappeared. I thought something horrible happened." Evan stepped aside, feeling strangely like an intruder in their emotional storm. He stood by quietly, letting them talk. Her father looked at Evan finally. You let her stay here, safely. Evan nodded. She was alone. I couldn't just walk past. The men stared at him, really stared, like he wasn't used to people helping without asking for something in return. You have my gratitude, he said finally. And whatever help you need from me, just say it. Evan shook his head. I didn't do it for a reward. I did it because I hope someone would do the same for my son someday. Anna smiled at him, genuine, soft. You're a good man, Evan. Her father noticed the way Anna's voice softened. He looked around again, as if seeing the place differently now. You're raising a child alone, he asked. Evan nodded. That must be difficult. Some days, Evan admitted. But Liam's everything to me. Anna's father seemed moved by that. More than Evan expected. Then let me help you, he said quietly. Not as payment, but because good men deserve good breaks. Anna stepped closer to Evan. Thank you for letting me stay. You didn't know me, but you cared anyway. You deserved safety, Evan replied. She hugged him, warm, grateful, trembling, and he returned it gently. When they left, the morning sun had started to rise, painting gold across the neighborhood. Anna looked back from the car window, offering one last smile. Evan stood on the doorstep, feeling the strange ache of a moment that changed his life in ways he couldn't yet understand. Later that afternoon, a knock came again. A different car. A legal envelope. A letter. Evan, this isn't charity. It's recognition. You protected what mattered most to me. Allow me to protect what matters to you. Gabriel, Anna's father. Inside was approval for a better paying job, arranged through a friend of Gabriel's company, plus a scholarship fund in Liam's name, no strings attached. Evan sat down slowly, breath shaking, the world tilting in disbelief. He had offered kindness expecting nothing, and life had returned it in a way he never imagined. That night, he watched Liam play with toy cars on the floor, sunlight filling their small home, hope blooming where fear once lived. Sometimes miracles came disguised as strangers in the rain. Sometimes kindness came back multiplied, and sometimes, letting a lost girl stay the night turned into a new beginning, not just for her, but for a poor single dad who had never stopped trying.